What's up, Katie? Be going live in a little bit, folks. About 3 more minutes. Oh God! Almost lost the laptop. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's hard to get these angles. What's up, Haley? I got 2 on. Nice. Great way to start the Sunday. And I think we could probably get this ball rolling. All right, turning down the music. Welcome to all who have joined and will be joining. Welcome to my other segment on No Running in the Halls called This Is How You Know. For those of you who are new to No Running in the Halls, I'm your host, Chavez, and I have 2 segments called the DOE edition and This Is How You Know edition. The DOE edition is a little bit more of a discussion platform, whereas for the DOE and other hardworking employees of New York City, and the segment where we speak about just everything and anything, what's on your mind, topics on social media, topics in the news. There's so much going on in the news and so much going on in pop culture. We can chat about that on this segment called This Is How You Know. I named this segment This Is How You Know because I would always tell people, this is how you know someone is this, or this is how you know you're here, or this is how you know somebody is lying, or this is how, silly things like that. I always feel like people like to talk about those things, and I certainly do as well. So let's get started. My first topic, I wanted to talk about the Chris Rock special. He did a stand-up for Netflix called oh no, I'm having a brain freeze. Selective outrage or something like that, right? Selective outrage. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, I watched it in its entirety and I was pleasantly surprised that the old Chris Rock is back. I don't know if you follow Chris Rock, but Chris Rock is a comedian slash actor who's done pretty well for himself. He hangs in the Adam Sandler stable of celebrity comedians. You know, they both come from Saturday Night Live and have done pretty well in their success. Um, so I've done a little bit of like surfing social media and been reading a lot of comments and been hearing what a lot of people say. And today's segment is called "This is how you know the elite ain't sheet," and I say that very loosely because I have to start the show by saying if I was rich, if I was a celebrity, if I was somebody who was well known in pop culture, I would I would try my best to keep a very low key. And I would try my best to keep my very strong opinions and my lifestyle off the camera. I would do that because I just don't think that people need to be in your life, and I don't think people need to know about your private life, and I really don't think people need to hear the judgmental mentalities that human beings have. I think that's just silly. But let's start from the beginning. For those of you who have been under a rock for a year or so, Chris Rock makes a joke, right? He makes a joke at or towards Jada Pickett Smith at the Academy Awards. Uh, what's up, Cesar? Nice of you to join. Thank you. We're talking about the Chris Rock incident, but also his recent stand up. So they were both uh, looked at, or sorry, they were both shot as the joke was ending, and Will Smith laughed, Jada rolled her eyes, and in that very few moments, of camera off, Will Smith comes to the stage and gives him a five-finger discount right on his face. Chris Rock took it like a champ, and he said it in his stand up. He's like, I took that shit. And he did. Dude, Will Smith is a big dude. That guy, I did the height and the weight thing. Chris Rock is absolutely correct. On camera, we don't know shit, but he is significantly bigger than Chris Rock, right? So he goes and he slaps him. He was able to accept an award. He was able to make a crying little crybaby speech. He was able to not get arrested, and everybody was like in shock, right? Everybody was like, damn, this fucking dude just went up on stage on live TV and slapped another man. Not just any other man, another fellow comedian slash actor slash celebrity, right? So, you know, my opinion is I think he should have been arrested. I think he should have been taken away. I don't think he should have been able to accept an award and all that stuff, right? So fast forward now, we have Chris Rock who finally wants to air out his grievances through a stand up, right? And I think that's, I mean, look, Chris Rock is a comedian, and I agree with a lot of what people are saying on social media and other shows that, like, you're a comedian, man. I think that you kind of get the golden pass, to make jokes at other people, and if you can't laugh about it, then you know what does that say about you? I mean, already you're going to get a collective group that's going to like chastise you for the rest of, oh, this guy can't take a joke. He doesn't respect the comedic art, and that's honestly, like, if you're a comedian, you should not have to worry about somebody coming up to you and physically assaulting you, right? I mean, that just makes more sense, right? Unless you're really attacking somebody and it's not funny anymore and you're getting at them. Like the way Chris Rock got at Will Smith was basically retaliation, and he had something to say. He didn't get to say it. Will Smith got to say everything he wanted. He got his put his own little thing on. Chris Rock stayed silent. What a fucking gent, right? He was really, 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 really a gent on this whole thing. What's everybody? What's up, everybody who joined? If you guys have any comments on what I'm talking about here, we are talking about just how well Chris Rock's chess moves were in his stand up and how he led up to what he wanted to say, made sure he put in a couple of anecdotes about, hey, listen, I don't want no beef with other rappers, naming some big guys, Snoop and Jay Z. And like, I think it's kind of crazy how the comeback from it is now, oh, now we're mad at Chris Rock. Like, come on. Come on, really? Like, we're mad at Chris Rock. Not only took a fucking five-handed slammer to his fucking face, right? He's fucking confused, embarrassed, right? He's got a lot of explaining to do. Hey, what? Yeah, there must have been some backstory, and I don't know. I don't know Will Smith that I don't not that well. I don't know him at all. I just know what he stood for, and like what he always talked about, and his long, 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 long history of great movies that he's been in. You can't take that away from him, right? But I just think it's crazy how now everybody's on Chris Rock. Yo, my man just wanted to put it to bed. He wanted to say, listen, this man smacked me, but everybody else in the industry called him a bitch. You went on and aired your grievances at a show that your wife hosts, and you interviewed each other, and you said you had a dysfunctional, like, honestly, man, I know that it's tasty tea, man, right? It's a lot of drinkable tea, but like now you look like an asshole. You look like a bitch. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't advocate for open relationships. I think if you want an open relationship, that's on you. I don't think you need to force feed it to anybody. I think you can, happily have sex with other people in your relationship, and you guys know about it, and just keep it to yourselves. But here we got a guy who, this guy started out as a rapper doing funny comedic rapping, um, and it was good. And then he got his own show, and that had its own turmoil in it. Apparently, he got Aunt Biv fired. Apparently, the original Aunt Biv, and it was like his fault. But then, is it her fault too? Is she like, one of these people that are, oh, here's this young fucking stanky ass piece of shit actor rapper. Now he's got his own show. I've been doing this shit for 15 years. Who cares? Who cares? Like that, it's not your time. It's not your lifetime. But going back to the Chris Rock thing, I thought he played this game really well. I thought he did a great job moving his chess pieces. He called out Will. It was only truth. It was only what the social media audience knew, right? We knew that he was having marital problems. We knew his kids were like all all but in love with him. They were upset with this guy. He's a hypocrite. Obviously, became a big hypocrite, and he had all these things against him. And Chris Rock just called him out. He said, "Look, you know, I thought he said something pretty genius in this, and that was that he said, "Yo, she hurt you way more than you hurt me." And that goes to show you, I don't know what kind of infidelities or what kind of home life these people have, but that's how you know the rich ain't shit, man. Like they have so many problems, and I don't know if I could collect this many problems. I don't know if I could collect this many problems with that kind of money. Like this world is based on greed and selfishness, and you get a little bit of money, know what to do with it, know how to act. I always say people who are rich and are rich from birth is a different kind of rich than the rich that became rich. I mean, I think everybody knows that. um but then there's also the people that become rich and there's become exactly like the people who were born rich, very very entitled, self-privileged people. And I think that kind, I mean, look, you can't control the world, but like, you can control how the world perceives you. You know what I mean? There's so many people out there in the world, that we live in, that have money, that conduct themselves as such. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, be unpredictable, but also be, fly under the radar. And this, I'm sure, unless I'm missing something, unless this was a whole staged thing, and they got us. It's like, yo, we got this audience all attached to this whole story. But like, if we don't know, let's say we don't know, right? We don't know what goes behind closed doors. We don't know if these people were paid to bring controversy to the world, and then really nothing's happening to them, right? Nothing happened to Will Smith. really nothing happened to Jada. Nothing's happening. Nothing. It's just juicy tea for us to sip on. But if this is a real thing, if this is a real beef between two celebrities, let's just say this: Chris Rock, you're a comedian. You should be able to speak on whatever you want. That is your platform. That is your. And people roast each other all the time on Comedy Central, and some of those roasts are pretty fucking bad. Like they're really mean roasts. They're roasts of people's personal lives and personal endeavors and pasts and things like that. I mean, like you must be getting a shit ton of money if you're okay with people airing out your dirty laundry. Oh my God, that must be a hefty paycheck because I wouldn't want that. I don't need people, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Anybody have any thoughts on that? We got like four people on right now. Anybody have any thoughts on social media, even just the thought of social? Sometimes I get sick of it. I'm like, oh my God! Like apparently, my girl's telling me about these three entanglements on one of these reality shows where a guy was cheating on the girl. It's like all over the place. And it's just a reality TV show. I mean, how real could it fucking be? Like, Jesus Christ, like, get over yourselves, man. It's not that serious. You have so much money. You live such a comfortable life. I was watching The Housewives. Don't repeat that to anybody. Honestly, the four of you in here, don't say shit. I had to sometimes. You got to sit through some of the shit that your girl watches. But frighteningly enough, it's kind of entertaining. But for me, I'm sitting there making fun of these people, and I'm like, this is what your life has become. And again, if you're being paid to air out your dirty laundry and put it on wax or put it on the big screen for people to see, that's cool. And if you think the money is just right for you not to give a shit, then kudos to you, man. Bravo, because that shit is embarrassing. And these ladies, they go at it. They're fucking vicious. I could watch two men fight and beat the shit out of each other, and I could be like, damn, that motherfucker got knocked out, or shit, that is not clean. I've seen some not so clean fights, like bricks and fucking shit from the street, broken glass. But to watch two rich ladies verbally abuse each other on TV, that is a sight. That is some crazy shit. And all these things are like all. I mean, once it gets out, it's all over the place. Does anybody remember? Does anybody watch 98 Fiance? If anyone's out there, Katie Lowe, Haley, Caesar, and GM, look, if you guys have seen this, do you remember that guy from 98 Fiance? He was the big Ed guy. He had like no neck, and he was like dating his first encounter was with a Filipino girl, and she talked like a robot, right? She was very, very robotic. Anyway, this guy, he gets on a show and he basically falls in love with this girl. I don't know how he could do that. I don't even know how she could do it, but falls in love, and it doesn't work out, right? But then he got like another girl, and then he was given another show. Then now he's commenting on other 90 Day Fiance stuff. It's crazy. And this guy, all of his dirty laundry is out. His relationship with his daughter, past relationships, and it's just crazy. Like everyone eats it up. And I got to tell you, I'm also a suspect. I'm a victim of the reality show. If I told you the lineup that goes on in this household, I'd probably lose my man card. But so I'm not going to tell you. But it's a lot of reality shows, and it's a lot of sickening, like like it's like a weird oxymoron of like I'm happy to sit here and judge the hell out of these motherfuckers because it's just a bunch of rich people complaining all the time and being upset with each other. Like, oh, you came to my house and you said this behind my back as I welcomed. Oh my God. You know, I'm a product of the 80s and 90s, and I just don't understand that. I don't understand how people get so butthurt. People get so butthurt over words, like words, like words can. But listen, don't get me wrong. When the right words come out, it's like it's like meeting a girl for the first time, and I don't know, things go down and some comments are made, something like that. That could be embarrassing and maybe hurtful, but you know, telling someone they look ugly today could be hurtful. When they tried their best to look great, that could be pretty fucking bad. Not that I know any human being, at least in my circle of people, that would ever tell somebody they look bad. I mean, we might say, hey, listen, you could probably not do that, or I wouldn't wear that, or you know, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's definitely two people I think around my age that we have on that can identify. Like, we all grew up in the same neighborhood, I think, and I don't ever recall ever being too butthurt by words. Like we ranked on each other all the time. I think that was like the name of the game. You rank on each other, and people say stupid shit, and you may get mad for that minute. I've had fist fights with my best friends, wrestling matches, grappling matches in the park, and at the end of the day, we were just like, oh, fuck it, whatever. Let's just, bury it, and that's it. By the way, I'm drinking this mushroom tea. It's got a lot of health factors, a lot of benefit. Really, really a really big focus factor in some of the packaging that lets you know what the benefits are. This is incredible. It's coffee, but it's got like mushrooms, and it does have a lot of It's not drugs, just so you know. It's a micro dosing, and whatever you think that is completely up to you. But I do it for the focus, and it really does help me focus. But anyway, going back. So the Chris Rock thing, let's finish up because I'm only going to keep this show going. I have a pop up to do at 2 o'clock with Ceviche Beach, so I can't stay on too long. And I'm trying to make Sundays the episode edition for the this segment, which is this is how you know. So to finish off, because I want to talk about something else. I think Will Smith really needs. I think he needs to zen out for a little bit, and I think him and his wife need to go to like the Tibetan hills and find some nirvana or some zen. Because you know what, man, you started it. You started this whole thing. You slapped a man. What did you expect he was gonna do? You thought he was gonna sit back like a punk and not do anything, man? He was gonna do something. He was gonna say something. And he's a comedian who's got really quick wit and a sharp and an itchy trigger finger. And my man buried you. I think he buried Will. I think he buried Jada. And I don't think they have a goddamn thing they should be able to say about it. I think you are both crazy people. I no longer look at Will Smith the way I did when I was younger or when I was, a fan. And I'm not saying that I can't take anything away from this man. He is an extraordinarily well-rounded actor and very talented. But human being wise, I'm not sure if I really care for this guy. And really, we don't need to know any more about your dysfunctional family. Um, your son hates you, your daughter despises you, your wife doesn't love you, and that's what you've shown us. And I can't, I might get a slap in the face for saying that. Hey, watch your mouth, Mister Podcast Guy. But I'm only telling you what you show us. And I think that's kind of what Chris Rock was saying. He's like, yo, listen, man, whatever you say, you know, what if The Rock said it? What if Sebastian Maniscalco said it? You know who that is? That's that really funny Italian guy. He talks like this, and everything he does is like weird. How he says it. Was that good? Is that good? No, I don't know. Could have been. Anyway, let's move on. All right, next thing. So there used to be this show in the 80s called Head of the Class. Head of the Class was about a bunch of smart kids in a classroom headed by a teacher. Howard Hessman was the actor. Rest in peace, Howard Hessman. He was a great actor. Anyway, the room was full of like very, 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 very highly intelligent students. They were in like a specialized high school. Literally, it was about 12 kids in the classroom. And out of those two kids in the classroom, two of them who were actors became producers and creators on Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon, of course, is a children's channel for children, for shows and games. And, I grew up watching Nickelodeon. I was a big fan. Can't do that on television, Double Dare, all those really cool shows, right? Now, Dan Schneider and Brian Robbins well, Brian Robbins was the cool leather jacket wearing, I guess you can call him, a smart guy. Back then you called him a nerd, right? Because in the 80s and 90s, people weren't offended by the word nerd. So they were like nerd, and Dan Schneider was the heavy set guy who sat kind of right near him. They were boys on the show, and he was just a very intelligent, kind of like fat guy, heavy dude. Who I guess I don't know. I guess if you had to like identify um, through description. He was like, I mean, they all had their talents, but they were all kind of outcast misfits in one class. Really, is what it was. So anyway, back to Brian Robbins, the leather jacket, cool guy with the greaser hair, and then Dan Schneider was just a heavy, fat, heavy set guy who just knew everything. Anyway, they created a bunch of shows like iCarly, Josh and Drake, Sam and Cat, right? They and I was a little too old to really be into them, but because I'm a very aware guy, I watched and saw clips of the show. I know what the show is about. And Victorious is another one. Those four have a lot to do with each other. So Drake and Josh featured that girl who was what's her name? Oh God, I can't remember her name. I'm having a brain fart. But anyway, the sister on that show went to have her own show called iCarly. Okay. And iCarly featured her best friend, Jeanette McCurdy, who was Sam, right? So they were friends. When that show ended, Sam had a show called Sam and Cat. Jenny McCurdy had a show with a girl named Ariana Grande, who came from the show Victorious, which was a show about a school who had a bunch of talented kids, singers and dancers and whatnot, right? So that's how they formed. So it was Drake and Josh to form iCarly, Victorious, and the remains of iCarly formed Sam and Cat, right? So like a little like Venn diagram, little graphic organizer for all you people who need scaffolding. Yeah, right. So anyway, all these kids, mainly the girls, some of the boys, but mainly the girls, are now coming out about how inappropriate Dan Schneider was. Wow. And it wasn't just like a little inappropriate. It was like stupid things like foot fetishes and massages and doing like clips and filming them like running on the beach in like their bathing suits. It was like probably as ultra creepy as you could possibly get from a guy who started his career in the 80s, continued his career through the 90s, blew up in the 2000s with all these creative shows for kids that they all love. Like iCarly was so big. Victorious was huge. Drake and Josh was amazing. And we don't have enough time today, but Drake and Josh, he's another one that is absolutely out of his fucking mind right now. This guy, I mean, we can't talk about him. I'm gonna give you a little. I'm gonna give you a little sip of tea. Drake Bell from Drake and Josh, like lives in Mexico. He was like stripped or lost his money, all the money that he made on Drake and Josh, and he is absolutely insane with the ladies and Mexico culture. And I don't give a fuck how old you are, and I don't give a fuck if you're a guy or a girl. Like he's going nuts over there. He's creating a lot of camera spotlight on himself, and it's not good. It's not good exposure. It's actually all bad. But we can't get into that. Let's talk about Dan Schneider. So Dan Schneider, he's having these issues now. I have to insert that Jenny McCurdy, star of Sam and Cat and iCarly, is a problem child. She had a really rough time growing up in the spotlight. She had a very interesting relationship with her mother, and her mother was like dying of cancer. But they had a very, very rocky relationship. They had a very tumultuous relationship, a lot of turmoil, and a lot of just not good parenting versus the kid being just fending for herself. And I can't imagine what that's like. So you got a single parent, you guys don't have like a stable life, no place to live. Mom's a drinker apparently, and this girl is getting roles in Hollywood. How the fuck does that happen? How I don't get it. I don't get it. You got to follow that. So who's taking you to these auditions? Who's booking agents for you? Where are you getting these auditions? if you don't have a properly functioning parent, then how is that happening? How are we even getting to these? I mean, okay, I mean, that just goes to show you, like in California, if that's how it's done, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that hard at all. Because in New York, I mean, I know one actor friend of mine, one actor, one. I did know two. Shout out to Christina. I don't know, you're not on here probably, but Christina Vidal. She was on a movie called in a movie called Life with Mikey with Michael J. Fox mad long ago. So I know her. But I don't know any actors. I don't know any celebrities. I don't know anybody. But like, you go to California, it's like, people are like your neighbors, like, oh, look, it's Kareem Abdul Jabbar. What's up, Kareem? Like, it's crazy. But anyway, that girl wrote a book called "I'm Glad My Mom Died," and it's like a fucking crazy title, right? It's a crazy title to have for your book. "I'm Glad My Mom." I mean, it's definitely a rhyme and reason for it. I know the rhyme and reason. I've researched it, but it's it's really honestly like it's a state of affairs where like you're like, wow, my mom was such a burden in my life. As much as I loved her, just thank God she's not around anymore. And that's kind of what the book was really about. But I had to insert that because I had to let you know that she was definitely one of the people that made these accusations towards Dan Schneider, and I don't know about Brian Robbins. I don't really think he got much slack or heat for it, but he definitely did help in the creation of these shows. Now, I will say this: you're creating shows for kids, starring kids. I'm a teacher. I'm with kids a lot. I'm with kids about 6 hours, almost 7 hours a day. Um, he's doing it, and I identify with how difficult it can be to work with adolescents, children, teenagers. Right? I identify. So anyway, this guy is now being called out for just misuse of his authority or his authoritative prowess on the show. The fact that he was the big boss, he's the creator, he's the director. He has many hats involved in these shows, and it just goes to show you how complicated you could make your own life by not doing the right thing. And look, nobody has said that he's guilty of anything. These shows have been off the air for some time now because Sam and Cat, obviously, we know Ariana Grande. If you don't know Ariana Grande, you're definitely under a rock. But really, this girl went from this little girl in a show, on a high school show. She definitely did not look the same in the show. Now she's a woman. She's a full-fledged woman, and she is gorgeous. She's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman. Has dated many different people, including Pete Davidson, who happened to be the star of 2022 and 2020, and all the start of 2020 was Pete Davidson's decade. But like, she dated Mac Miller, who passed away. I think it had something to do with Pete Davidson. She dated um, what's his name, the rapper. I can't remember his name. Something big something. I forget. Big Gary. I don't know. Big Mike. I don't know. Anyway, he was a rapper. And then now she's like dating like a real estate mogul, pretty boy guy. But anyway, she's also in on this. Let me make these allegations. I don't know if the iCarly girl has done anything. She seems like she likes to stay out of the trouble and stay out of the spotlight. So I can't imagine it's her. I think some of the boys were saying some shit too. But after this show ends, and all these kids start coming out, man, you either did these things, or you were not very well liked and people are coming for your money. And I just think it's such a weird thing because if you follow social media, you're like, damn, man, this is outrageous. You have let's rewind a little bit. This is how crazy our world is. Like, you have two people fighting on live TV. You got a guy who created a show about kids for kids on a kids network doing the wrong things to kids. And then you have like other celebrities who abuse their notoriety and their celebrityness by like using other people. There's a whole thing on musician Ryan. Oh no, God, I'm having such a brain fart today. Not Ryan. I gotta look this up now, guys. I'm sorry. Uh, this is gonna kill me. Sorry, give me 1 second. I always have brain farts. It's probably gonna be Alzheimer's when I'm older, but whatever. Ryan Adams. There it is. Ryan, not Brian Adams. Ryan Adams. So Ryan Adams. I really don't know a lot of his music. I don't. I know that he's popular. I know he had a whirlwind of a decade or maybe a half a decade writing music. But I got to be honest with you. I read so much shit about this guy that he was just a very manipulative, very um like caution when wet, caution, throw caution to the wind, be cautious because it's wet around here type of guy. Like to be around him was like almost like playing Russian roulette with your mind, your body, and your soul. And I think that that's pretty fucked up. I think like you know you have this place in this world where you're a respected musician. Yeah, we could also take this back to Bill Cosby, but we won't because that's like for an episode like this, we need to make a separate episode for people like Jared from Subway and Bill Cosby and people that really took it to next level bullshit. But going back to Ryan Adams would basically like meet all these up and coming artists, and you know how it is. Artists are like they just want their foot in the door, and they'll do anything. They'll sing you a song standing on 1 foot. They'll bark like a dog if you ask them to. They'll give away free talent, just to say, well, I paid my dues. But some of these people really take it to the next level, and they ask for like, well, if I'm going to do this for you, you have to do this for me, and let's just use your imagination. I mean, a lot of it's probably like sexual favors and asking girls to do things that they probably wouldn't normally do if the circumstances weren't presented in front of them the way it was. I think that that's pretty fucking like that's pretty sleazy, like um let me let me throw something at you that could be helpful in like I guess identifying stuff like this as such. You probably all don't watch wrestling, right? Wrestling is a choreographed. Um, I really can't call it wrestling anymore so much. I mean, there's wrestling moves. It's not so collegiate, but it is entertainment. It's wrestling entertainment, right? And all of them across the board. There's so many. It's WWE, which everyone knows, AEW, which is the new like rival, Impact Wrestling, right? All these wrestling things. And in wrestling, right, when you're a veteran wrestler and you're still wrestling and you're still doing your thing, you have an obligation to up and coming talent to put them over is what they call it. Put them over. Putting them over means that you are giving them the green light to make their career and start their career in a big way. It happened to John Cena. I don't know if you all know John Cena, but John Cena is now an actor. He rarely shows up at WWE events, but he's got a great relationship with the company, and he does make appearances. But years ago, John Cena was about to get let go from the company, and because of this, he kind of like lost like a lot of hope for himself. But one day they said, listen, we're going to throw you out there. You're going to go out and you're going to challenge then popular wrestler Kurt Angle, and you're going to lose, but give your best performance, basically like a pat on the tush. Go out there and be somebody. So he did that, and he went out there and did a great promo. And it was kind of cheesy at the time, but it was so long ago now at this point. John Cena did not look the same as he does now. He was wearing like these really tight wrestling trunks, and he had his hair like spiky, and he looked like he just came out of a bodybuilder's contest, because he was all veiny and tan. It's crazy. If you put those pictures side by side, you'd see that some people will do anything to get aboard, and that wasn't John Cena's thing. Like he didn't want to do that. He was just like, all right, I'm gonna do whatever they tell me to do. So with that said, John went out there and put on a great promo. Now he lost that day to Kurt Angle, but he put on a great promo, and the people backstage they noticed it. And one of the people that noticed it was Mark Callis, better known as the Undertaker. And the Undertaker went back there and said to him, "Was like, yo, great job, man, really great job." And Undertaker, Mark Callis, he had a very good relationship with the McMahon family. So much so that he really became like the leader of the locker room, and people would go up to him. And apparently, he was a very, very easy guy to talk to, and he really gave great advice. And he did a lot of things to help wrestlers' careers progress and move forward. And in that business, if you don't do that, you get into a lot of trouble to help a new wrestler get over, or somebody that, even if you're not old, even if like you're halfway into your career and they say, hey, listen, halfway career guy, there's a new guy coming in and we need you to lose to him or to make him look good at your expense. And the guy says, no, that's not a good thing. That doesn't happen. You get fined. You lose clout. You lose popularity. I heard Brock Lesnar has done that in the past. He's like, I'm not fucking putting this guy over, and in the wrestling business, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. It's people don't really like each other sometimes. There's people who wrestle in the same company that don't like each other. They have words all the time. AEW just got through a big thing with CM Punk. It's crazy, but there's like an unspoken thing where, and it's not even unspoken anymore, that you have to put people over. So going back to the Ryan Adams thing, it's like, okay, so you have a new artist coming up, treat them well, make them feel good, like make them feel like that this is a business to go into. If you're going to start shading this whole business and how it's like, oh well, you got to, in order to get a record deal, you got to suck my dick. Like, come on, man, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, what are we in prison? Like, damn, man, this is a person whose dream is to be a musician, to live off their music, and you're telling them something way different. You're saying, all right, or you're just saying, well, you definitely met the wrong guy for this, because shit, I might get your stuff on the radio, but I'm gonna need something in return. And I'm not saying that people can't pay shit forward, but not like that. But yeah, so um, I think it's a little shady. I think it's a little shady how some people really use their um their 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 levels in their life, celebrity status or just elite status, to do that. And I've heard a lot of horror stories. I have a friend who did a lot of work on like SVU and Blue Bloods and all of those detective cop shows, and he told me that there's some dark, dark, dark stuff in the world of acting, like things that people do that, when it spills, and it's crazy. I saw a video, and we don't have too much time. I've got about 10 minutes left, but I've seen some shit on the internet that blows my mind. One of the things that I saw was Jason Momoa being very handsy with his daughter. That was fucked up. Thought that was pretty. I can't even. I don't even want to discuss it, but it was just nuts, nuts, and like everybody loves Jason Momoa, handsome guy, great actor. It's just crazy how you're putting yourself in a very, 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 very awkward predicament by doing shit like that. But anyway, yeah, I just today's topic, the elite ain't cheap, man, is show they really are not smart people sometimes, and they really don't understand the level of concern that people will have based on your actions. Like we're a society. If you're not attached to your phone, I mean, I mean, I know people that take phone breaks and social media breaks. I mean, we're taking breaks on social media to not watch people make asses of themselves, and there's plenty. There's plenty of people that make jerks of themselves, and I don't know. So I'm gonna take this time out. Does anybody want to chime in with something they read or watched recently that like was like, wow, it was almost like the biggest like shot to the throat Please feel free to chime in, man. I would love to hear from you. We would love to hear from you. I think some of these stories out here are crazy. Just nuts, nuts, and more nuts. And we could see how society is just falling to pieces at the seams. It's breaking at the seams. But I'd love to hear from everybody. And if nobody has anything to share, that's okay. We're still a brand new show. We got people that are, I think they come on to listen to me rant and rave for no reason, but that's cool. I can appreciate that. But um, I'm gonna switch gears for a moment and talk about uh, my other segment, which I probably shouldn't do, but I'm going to do it anyway. So the other segment that I have, no running in the halls, I do want to also um, point out that they are two separate shows. I do not want to confuse the two. They're both discussion platforms, but this one is way open. If you guys remember my first, this is how you know. This it was about the sandwich edition. This is how you know you're from Queens. My next one, believe it or not, is going to be very much like that. This one I wanted to talk about because I had been ever since I had seen the Chris Rock edition. Sorry, the stand up. I wanted to talk about it because I really was impressed by his work on that, how well he played his chess move. But it is two separate platforms, and I leave it up for discussion too. I mean, I started off and I say, "Oh, this is about the borough of Brooklyn," or this is how you know someone isn't ordering. Says how you know somebody's from Chicago when they're ordering a New York pizza, stuff like that. It's all fun stuff, and I also want people to understand that the DOE one is also not. It doesn't have to be serious. It really doesn't. I know. I'm going to tell you experiences, and that's what my goal was. I'm going to tell experiences about me, and I would love, and I think the audience would really love to hear your experiences. I'm going to try to get on more platforms for more New York City employees and teachers to join that one. I do appreciate all forms of life, humans, that is, to join in and chime in and give their opinions. And everybody, I just want you to know we're not here to bash, and no one's going to get in trouble. You're allowed to voice your opinion. You're allowed to voice your experiences, and that's okay. I want you all to know that. There's no way. I've had people come up to me so nervous. I had so many people make me feel like I'm the one that I shouldn't be doing this. But if you all know me, that's not how I roll, and I don't really get in with that kind of negativity. I think everyone has a platform and should say what they want to say, and that's that with no running in the halls DOE edition. You just say what your opinions are, what your experiences are, and it's cool to ask questions too. Like if you're somebody out there and you're not a teacher or a corrections officer, police officer, it's okay to ask questions. I welcome those questions, and I'm sure people on here who know the answer and that the same question to the question that I don't know the answer to. I think it could be just as fun to hear what they have to say, if not better. Um, Moving back to this is how you know. Uh, I think. I think as we grow older, we people, that is, as we grow older, we learn to accept the things we cannot change. Um, and I'm only 45, and I'm turning 45 this year, so um, I like watches and sneakers and watches and sneakers. So if you're looking to get the kid a birthday gift, I like watches and sneakers. I like hats. It's my new goat hat with glasses. I couldn't find one with black glasses, but um, everybody thinks that most people are probably going to think I'm wearing this because they think I'm the goat. I'm not the greatest of all time, but I am an Aries, March baby, 23rd, and he looked like a kind of like a ram because the Aries symbol is like a ram or some kind of like animal with horns. And I liked it. So don't think that I think I'm the goat. Now I'm not the goat yet. Hopefully there could be goat status, but I'm just kidding. I like the goat. I'm not the goat. I probably look like a goat, but I'm not the goat. Michael Jordan's the goat. Does anybody disagree with that? Does anybody have a LeBron? We're gonna do an episode on this, but I could start it off real quick. Does anybody think that LeBron is the GOAT in this room? Haley, you probably think LeBron is the GOAT, don't you? I know you do. Probably, I'm pretty sure GM is probably gonna go with me on Jordan. If you say Kobe, I'm okay with that. Yeah, I feel like Kalo's definitely gonna say Kobe. Yeah, I'm gonna prompt you all to give an answer. It's gonna be like a classroom today. I'm gonna popcorn pick. What do you think, Haley? Are you even on? Are you still there? Is anybody still there? It'd be great if you were. Because let me tell you something. There's this really, really, really horrible discussion about the three of them being the GOAT. And I can't possibly fathom that LeBron thinks that he's one or if anyone else does. I got a bunch of 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds in my building who will try to argue me on this. And I got to be honest with you, there's really no argument. So I'm gonna leave the GOAT I'm going to leave the GOAT conversation up in the air till next time. And I actually have an episode called "This Is How You Know Somebody Doesn't Know What a GOAT Is." That's going to be a funny one. Hopefully, we can all agree. So I'll wrap it up by saying thanks for those who came in and waved and said hello. Um, Next time, stay a while and see if you can chime in on some of this dirt I have. Um, the elite ain't cheap, man. That's how you know it. There's too many problems. Money, more problems. You don't know how to manage your money. You don't know how to manage your life. You don't know how to manage your privacy. Man, you got to start rethinking your life because I know if I ever came into money, I know that if I ever did well in life where my personal life was trying to be put on blast, I definitely would not air out my dirty laundry. I ain't slapping nobody in public. I certainly am not causing any verbal ruckus with somebody. I'm not. If I had kids, I would my private relationship with my kids would be private. And I just think it's funny. Kudos to you guys out there, you celebrities out there that give us some juicy, tasty morsels of rumor induced craziness of your lives. Thank you for keeping us entertained. But you're also giving us a platform to talk crap about you and really judge you. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm calling it like I see it. But like my questions are more than my comments. Like, why do this to yourselves? And that's really what this segment was all about. I honestly I don't think the elite is shit, man. I think that I'm fine just making my hard working, honest money, living comfortably, being able to buy and do the things I like. And everybody's, there's this like mental persuasive brainwash of, I want to be rich, I want to be rich, I want to be. I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but when you turn your life like this, like, man, you're rich. Why the fuck are you getting in trouble so much? You have money. What are you doing? What did you think that money was going to get you out of this? It's terrible. It's terrible. Anyway, with that said, I will see you next Sunday for another episode of This Is How You Know with hopefully a special guest. I'm still waiting on a response. Hopefully, we'll get a host on that day. But if you do not catch me Sunday, catch me this Wednesday with episode 3 of No Running in the Halls DOE edition. And I will keep you updated for the content on that one. Join me live next Wednesday for that episode. I can't wait to see you guys. Everybody have a beautiful Sunday. Everybody have a beautiful Sunday. Go get something really good to eat. Go spend some time with your loved ones and feel good about yourself. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.